All right, I want to welcome everybody to the NWO show. We've got kind of a fun show today. A whole bunch of cool stuff has happened overnight. Uh, we got a whole bunch of news that we got to go live with yesterday, but we got more stuff today. We've got even more kind of awesomeness that Amazon sent us in the mail. So pretty happy about
Ooh.
a lot of what's going on. Want to introduce McLeod as well. McLeod, I know you're here. McLeod's our co-host and probably the brains behind this operation when it comes to all of the technical sides of engineering the actual show. God knows that's not me.
Yeah, trying to get you to push all the buttons correctly is an interesting task.
It's up here, right?
Somewhere around there, yes, dude.
Oh, yeah. So naturally,
But you just put those specs on and just tell me to deal with it. So
So I'm wearing these because I was wearing these when I took a little photo shoot earlier today. I was going to do a straight up live unboxing. I do have everything in the box again, but straight up, we got a pretty awesome package from Amazon, and I'm going to take the opportunity right now to we'll just get that part right out of the way, and it'll be a good time. Believe it or not, I'm inside, so like wearing these, I can't see dick. Um,
I'm surprised
So-
you hit the right buttons today.
right? Like half blind, and I'm still hitting the right stuff.
I mean, that's progress, right?
That is something at least. So
I was kind of like I was wondering because you did screw around with like maybe two cameras and like you couldn't get it to work. So I was wondering how you're going to do this unbox, and you kind of like said like, "Oh, it just ain't happening. Maybe I should just take a whole bunch of pictures." And
So we got this awesome box from Amazon, and it
you
includes
should.
a whole bunch of really cool stuff in it. So you got a kind of a card on top. You got the neck gaiter, which has the face on it from the helmet. I believe it's a 6,000
Milliamp hour.
milliamp hour power bank, which is pretty
That's pretty
sweet.
epic, dude.
Because you don't want to get that corruption. You got to get that New World branded hand sanitizer.
Oh, for
And
sure,
of
yeah.
course, the snapback cap, the authentic, the one, the only. It is actually embroidered, which is really awesome, and it's super high quality. So
It's
really digging
it's
it.
got the same snapback kind of like the thing as mine.
Yeah.
As mine.
hmm
So it's authentic.
So
You
with
can't
that,
rip that thing off, by the way, just so you know.
let's get our camera back into place. So you guys saw the box. It's a pretty awesome box. It also comes with a, I forgot to mention this, it was in the side of the box. Comes with a Grubhub gift card.
See, also over here in the UK, I don't think we have Grubhub, like, or at least I've never heard of it. So, like, what is that all about?
So Grubhub is a food delivery service.
Okay.
It's like Postmates or,
From the
big-
name, I
yeah.
should have twigged, but like you never know these days.
So pretty awesome box to get in the mail. I had to give them the address, and I was like, oh, I don't, they were like, oh, we're gonna send you a little box of swag, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, had no idea what was gonna be in it. In all honesty, I thought it was gonna come like 2 weeks from now, and like, it was real quick how fast it got here. So I was really
Well, to
happy
be fair,
about that.
with the issues that you guys have with the post at the moment, I was wondering myself as to
Right?
whether that was actually going to come at all.
Part of me wonders if it's like, Amazon using their own internal shipping. Because like came from
Delivered to you
California,
by drone.
So, like, I mean, it got here fast.
Maybe it was delivered to you by drone then.
Yeah. So yeah. If anyone knows how to distribute things to you, it would be Amazon.
Not gonna lie, that's probably right.
Yeah. So pretty awesome stuff. I'm really happy to get the box. Sincerely, thank you to the New World guys and the New World team. They're made my day when I got it. You know, I got to snap some pictures earlier today, and we'll pop up a couple of those.
Because you got it late last night, and like I imagine, I remember you were wondering like, is this going out to like other people, like, or what the fuck's going on here? And then like, you know, over the course of today, like you know, really late last night, like pictures started to appear on Twitter with
Yep.
other content creators basically, you know, receiving this sort of thing. So you know, it's cool to see that like, you know, that Amazon are like, you know, actually paying respect is not the phrase, like is help me out here, is like, it's they're basically they're acknowledging
Acknowledging
content creators,
efforts
big and
towards
small.
the game, like
Yeah, big and small.
you know, there's a ton of conversations and a ton of very highly detailed input that is all privileged conversation that has gone into that, and you know, I hope that they know that, hey, that is an effort that I absolutely love doing. Like, you know, my day-to-day job is details, is, you know, understanding information at a deep level. You know,
I love how like this picture, like now versus like a year ago, would be considered completely differently. Like a year ago, it'd be like, this guy is really shifty. He's probably like he's probably gonna like be raiding a bank in a moment or something like that. And
right?
like nowadays, it's like, oh, this guy's actually an upstanding member of the community,
Hmm.
protecting himself and others.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, those sunglasses are totally photoshopped in there." Legitimately,
Nope.
it's actually a pair of sunglasses. Yeah, I'm not that good with Photoshop. Like, you could just buy
Some people
these.
have seen, yeah, some people have seen the deal with the sunglasses before. If you haven't, then they are, yeah, like the whole deal with it meme actually ended up with a legit product.
Yes. Amazon, you can
It's
buy
pretty cool.
like 3 different versions of these glasses, so they're pretty awesome. And I really like the way that you can like make all of your screens just pass in front and like make the glasses like flicker. They're completely flat on the front. Anyways, moving away from that, we do have game news as well. Hey, it's Imperium News.
Oh damn! Hey,
Imperium
skeptic.
News. Skeptic forgot to log out. Oh. So apparently there's a big fight
welcome,
happening in EVE Online.
welcome Imperium News.
Yeah. Hey Luna, good to see you. It's always good to see all of our fans coming in for the show. We got a couple of things that we want to hit up in terms of things we want to talk about. So, fix a little bit of lighting here. One of the big things we want to talk about is this. If you are on
if you were on the public beta alphas, or not the public, what am I talking public? Like if you're in the closed alphas, like this is probably something that you'd have received.
Yes.
On your Steam.
If you had a activated thing on Steam before, you received this error. This is not a bad thing. This is them removing the old code.
Like oddly enough, like the actual main body of this whole thing is like completely, like it is meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless to what was actually happening, or the reasoning behind what's happening. Like essentially, you kind of have to understand that you know, obviously, you know, Steam isn't Amazon's marketplace. You know, like you know, like Amazon using Steam is basically, you know, a third party using Steam as their way of distributing their game. So they have to go by the various different techniques, the various different methods and practices that Steam allows third parties to control their products on the Steam marketplace, right? And just straight up deleting a title from from the marketplace isn't really possible, or even from your Steam library isn't really possible. And so they have to kind of find these creative ways of working around and to be able to achieve like what they want to do, what they want to set out to do. And unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, essentially they found a way. The unfortunate thing is it brings up this particular sort of like error / sort of comment like message, and it's meaningless up onto it's meaningless only so far as the main body of it. Like the only real thing that actually affects you in any way, shape, or form is that the closed beta of New World, like that particular thing in your Steam kind of library is not there anymore. Like it has nothing to do with payments, has nothing to do with issues with payment, nothing whatsoever. It's just a means to an end.
Yep. It is the unfortunate reality of an automated prompt, and the automated prompt not being flexible enough to understand what's actually happening. So, don't freak out. This is just them pulling the confidential client back so that you can install the preview client without any issues. It's also so that they can ensure that only the proper keys are going out versus old keys, and there might have been some issues with things like let's say somebody got banned, but you don't want them in, but you want there's a whole bunch of oddities there with access lists.
Exactly. Do you really want the same people coming in who may have broken their NDA for whatever reason? Like, do you really want those guys coming back in because they had a key previously? Probably not.
To be fair, most of them that got booted were booted for doing stupid stuff like streaming a confidential client. I'm not gonna lie, like we've had to do this since January. There's obviously no live gameplay done on the show so far. That'll change soon, very soon.
That's been difficult. Like getting this far with zero actual like interactive gameplay. Like, oh man, that's been a challenge. But
it really has. Getting to the point where we've done 8 months worth of content. There was a little bit of a gap there due to some just truly epic overtime for my day-to-day job. But the turnaround on that 8 months of content that, I mean, effectively speaking, what no like up until like the last 2 months here, there hasn't been any public anything, and like I feel bad for the people that got caught streaming because that sucks. But at the same time, like just looking at them and I'm like, you managed to download something that's literally called confidential test. You managed to make it through a thing that says you have an NDA. Then you managed to load up into the Twitch channels, load into the New World section, and go, hey guys, no one else is streaming here. What's going on? There's so many people playing this game. Why would I not stream this? I'm the only one in the category.
This doesn't strike me as odd in any way. Yeah, you load into a game that's clearly quite being played by quite a few people, right? And you go to stream it and there's nobody streaming it, like, and that doesn't clue you into something.
Yeah,
like
that.
Yeah, you have
that
to be
should be at least the
special.
first red flag. Maybe not the only one, but just the first one.
I mean, that should be the most obvious red flag, like really.
So in your Twitch itself, it should actually show up as let me find the image because I don't want to show you my full Steam library. I'm all for being judged, but I mean, you know, there's a limit to what I want to be judged for today.
Nobody wants to
that's
see
tiny.
you.
Should show up as New World Preview in your Steam library.
Yeah.
If it's still showing up as the confidential client, uninstall and reinstall. Because that's all I can tell you on that one. It shouldn't be the confidential client. So that brings us to what to expect on the 25th. Now this is a key note here. The 25th is when your NDA takes a breather, and it allows you to stream and stuff like that. There are a number of things that you cannot do until then, and there are a number of things that limit what you can do when you can do it. Sorry for the epically white screen here, but the Amazon Games content usage policy is out there on the New World Preview page.
I mean, it sounds really fucking dry, and like as much as black text on white background is not exactly that modern these days. Like it's not, like, strangely enough, it's not actually it's not an extremely painful read. Like it's not full of what I would call legalese, right? Which is basically like a bunch of legal speak that like half of the world don't understand in any way, shape, or form. And it's not like it's not a massive piece of text. It's not like fucking reading through like you remember when you first sort of like wondered, how big actually is like iTunes end user agreement, right? And then you kind of really notice and realize how bad and how fucking huge that thing is. It's not that. It's literally that one page. That's it. There's no legalese in it. There's no kind of like fucking weird ass terminology and shit. Like it's actually fairly straightforward. There's a few things that that you might skip over and not realize quite what they're saying. Like do we want to go through
that? So I don't know if we want to dive straight into that. Mainly because it's just epically white and it's blinding. Like for those that don't know, like what I'm staring at in front of me has managed to turn like my camera settings. I'm being blinded here. They show the truth. Christ. Like here's it not on, and here's me being blinded. I have a wall of monitors in front of me, so like, yeah.
I wonder whether it's
actually, you know what? I have the right equipment for this.
Oh,
this
dude,
this is what I needed these for.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All right.
You literally didn't realize that you were actually planning ahead.
Yeah.
See, I actually have dark mode. I have like a dark reader on my Chrome, so it's pretty fucking good.
Oh hey.
You just turn that shit on and it's great.
Problem solved. Forgot to flip that little switch.
See?
All right. So
where would your eyeballs be without me?
Oh my god, right? That was painful. Yeah. So, anyways, basically what this all boils down to is that they don't want you to make it appear like you were being endorsed by Amazon Games. Or Twitch. So do not use the Twitch logo. Do not use the Amazon Games logo unless it's in like a video of theirs. You're fair game to wear any of their merch. If you want to wear the hats that just came out in the and the fancy, swag boxes and the masks and all of that, you're certainly allowed to do all of those things. Their policy does state that you are not allowed to use it for commercial use. So, effectively speaking, as long as you don't start selling their stuff. So, there is a difference in between me going, hey, great, I can, buy stuff from them and get their logo on it and all of that. It's a whole different story if I went out and started selling their logo on my own product. That's where the line is.
So yeah, that's the difference. Like we're not saying like you're not allowed to once you bought like an Amazon sweatshirt. Like you're not allowed. Like we're not saying that you're not allowed to fucking sell that as a like secondhand kind of thing. But you're not allowed to basically use their logo and put it on some other shit and go, it's an Amazon, like a New World like branded merchandise.
Yeah,
it's basically what they're trying to say.
So. Now, there's a lot of things that you're allowed to do. There's some legalese here that can be taken in a negative way because it's written in a way that is to ensure that they have the legal authorities if they need to pull that trigger.
Is this license bit?
So
I'm going to talk about, or is that some other?
So here's the actual phrasing here. Although we are excited about all the interesting things you may want to make with our game content, we reserve the right to revoke your limited license to use our game content at any time without having to give any specific explanations. Often it's going to be because we think the game content is being used in ways that we find inappropriate, damaging to the player experience, which, okay. Now, if you start doing very questionable shit that they don't want to be associated with on your stream, that is probably the fastest way to get them to trigger that clause.
Yeah. So for example, like I'm gonna like go out on the limb and basically give some examples here. If you're basically asking people on stream to dare to do shit that is dangerous or somewhat embarrassing or humiliating just to win like New World branded swag, for example, they'll probably think, yeah, like that isn't appropriate for that kind of shit.
Exactly. Or if you start showing content aside, next to their content, or throwing their logo on content that is not something that they want to be associated with, pick any topic that is controversial, they can say, hey, no, that's goodbye. Like, that is what that clause is designed for. It is so they can sit there and say no thank you for stuff that is patently bad. Now, they go further into this and say, if we revoke this limited license, you will have to stop using or distributing our game content in your projects. So I take that as they will straight up take all of your stuff down, like DCMA style. I'm not a lawyer, but
yeah,
reading
like
that leaves
that kind of sounds like it.
Yeah.
So I do want to address something that like sort of may not seem that obvious to some people, or people may get like the wrong end of the stick, right? So some of that particular terminology, people may look to it, especially some people who are a little bit sort of critical of Amazon games and New World, may look to that and think to themselves, well, like if I write a scathing review, does that breach one of those? Is the terminology used there like so vague that they can basically say, we don't like your review, so we're going to DCMA all of your stuff? I don't know, but there is like a list of things of like, this is the kind of stuff that like we kind of expect that like you should be able to do, and this is some of the stuff that probably will go in and say like deny you from doing, kind of thing. Like critical
Yeah.
review isn't on there in any way, shape, or form, but I would love to see at least a kind of a revision of that text to have critical reviews be put on the acceptance thing, just so people understand that they are still able to do critical reviews of the preview event and what they experience in the preview event, without fear of Amazon games basically coming in and going, we don't like a review, DCMA, DCMA, DCMA. Like I don't think they're going to do that anyway, but it would be nice to actually see that confirmed.
Yes. I think it would definitely be something that would be worthwhile for them to just add in, hey, even if it's negative towards the game, like now here's where there's some distinguishing context here. Like there's a difference in between, and we've said this in the past, there's a difference between saying, a negative review and content that crosses the line. Like, if you spend 30 minutes shouting every profanity you can think of about how awful your experience has been and all of that, like, do you think that they want their content associated with that behavior? Like,
or even
that's a somewhat light example, but like it goes to extremes beyond that they could easily turn and say, hey, yeah, no, please stop.
Yeah, even if you're projecting like either your situation or your experience of other people, but through this game as being, Amazon games, like, caused this to happen to me, kind of thing. Like, that sort of stuff, that's not on Amazon. Like that's on like, the people who you meet, how you interact with those people. Like that's just down to, your capability to interact sociably with people. Like that's not on Amazon, that's on you. So if you have a bad experience because you're a terrible person when it comes to interacting with people, like you can't lay that on Amazon's door and say your game is bad and you are bad because of this. Like, no, nah, mate.
Yeah. Now, that said, they'll probably leave something like that up. It's when you start like encroaching into territory that they don't want their content like even closely associated with, that's when things really get ugly. From a like PR standpoint, that's the only time that I would use it if I was them. And that seems to be what it's written like. That said, I would put in, hey, critical reviews included.
Yeah. I don't want this to turn into another one of the like. I don't want this. I don't want like this sort of reaction to this game to turn into like the bullshit that occurred with the fucking Last of Us 2. Like if you are on YouTube and you realize like how much bullshit happened with that game and the reviews and the reaction to the reviews, like, oh fucking hell, like, yeah. It's just not a good time, and it won't be a good reaction at all if Amazon like resorts to something like that. So I hope that they have a lot more like backbone than that whole fiasco, because people like a company that has backbone, that has got like a classic example of this is CD Projekt Red, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. So, sorry, I'm prepping like 4 other things in the background here. Some things that I think are worth talking about as well. There is a lot of misinformation going around about the early versions of the game. And I want to hit on that quick. there is a number of different videos that keep coming out that have the false impression that the game was in some way full loot. This is patently false. The game has never been, nor will it ever be, full loot. In order to, like, in the super early alpha, you had to be a criminal in order to lose all of your gear, which means you would have had to engage in unconsensual PvP at some point in time prior to that, then get killed while you were still waiting off your timer. That is the only instance in which you would have full loot anything.
I'm not even a fan of full loot. Like granted, like, you know, like I've played my fair share of, like, you know, like hardcore raid style raid style MMO RPGs and all that kind of shit, right? You know, I play Eve, which is like considered to be one of those cutthroat MMOs out there. Like even Eve doesn't have, like, you know, full loot PvP, and I don't think it's even in any form realistic, you know, from just a logic sense, and even from an game economy kind of sense, for full loot PvP to exist. Like, you need to have shit disappear in a game for, like, the game to carry on and for an ecosystem to occur. Like, you know, it just makes sense.
Well, this is probably one of the fastest ways to identify somebody who has played the game since the first alpha or pre-alpha, because you'll very rapidly identify that, hey, that's not the case. Like, you know, you can tell who's done their homework and who has not very, very, very quickly. And it's really important to note that, you know, there is a lot of misinformation out there on, you know, towing away from gaming for a second. You know, when it comes to social media and when it comes to all sorts of other things, there is a lot of very misleading social media. There's misinformation. There's people who are deliberately trying to give you the wrong information. And you need to be aware of those kind of things, that they are happening. Sometimes it is out of a place of they did some of their homework but copied somebody else's notes, and it wasn't a good set of notes. Or in some cases, there are people who are still incredibly salty about the changes from all of the time PvP vulnerability to the flag-based system, who are still to this day very upset about that and are adamantly trying to kill the game because they have this rose-colored sunglasses of how things actually went in that alpha.
Well, you also have to understand that a lot of those kind of people are the kind of they're like the hardcore raid style MMO crowd that wanted this to be a hardcore raid style MMO, right? Like that's that kind of type of people. Those type of people, if you haven't experienced them before, they're extremely territorial, and they have a mentality of, like, total war, right? And the idea
and they have a
of
lot of time
war,
on their hands.
and they have a lot of time in their hands. So there's a lot of people. It's basically people who have a lot of time in their hands consider all-out warfare to be, you know, something that they prescribe to, not just from a game sense, but from a lifestyle sense, right? So essentially, you know, when they were excluded, like, they considered that to be a declaration of war for them to basically go and try and ruin, like, you know, ruin the experience of the game and, like, the reputation of the game online as much as they possibly can. Like, those are those kinds of people. So, you know, if you also have to understand that, like, the people who would want to defend that want to still be included in the game when the game comes out, whereas those people kind of don't. They just want to burn as much of this shit down as possible. And when you're under an NDA, it's kind of difficult to defend a game that's under an NDA when you can't speak about the good shit that you experience in the game. You know, for it's just it just doesn't make sense when it comes down to like I want to defend this game, but like I also actually want to play this game because I don't want to be excluded for breaking the NDA. So
yeah. Now here's what's gonna happen. Finally, we're going to have that veil lifted, and you are going to, in the next week here, starting August 25th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, and it'll end September 4th at midnight or 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time on the 5th. You're going to get the chance to actually see what the game is, 100% of what's there.
Which is really fucking cool, because initially coming into this, it was referred to as a preview week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they've changed the phrasing to preview event. And now that we have the dates, it shows it's very clear that it's not just a week; it's basically 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I think it's 11 days.
Awesome.
And it would be really awesome if they would extend it over that weekend too.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. We'll do my best to poke people and hope. They did do, it wouldn't surprise me if they extended some stuff. That said, I think that there's an additional aspect of this that like 99% of people don't get this far when actually reading this. The last question that they answer, will the next alpha be under NDA, answers more than just the question that was asked. Yes. So yes, it's going to be under NDA, which okay, fine. Everybody will at least have stuff to talk about. We'll have a boatload of game footage. We'll be streaming it the whole week. Provided I don't get called into work for dealing with 2 hurricanes making landfall simultaneously in the Gulf. Like,
fuck you, nature.
Yeah, 2020 is being a real just dick. But anyways, so the next one's going to be under NDA. Great. We'll share more details about future testing in the weeks to come. That's not months, that's weeks. So they said that. I think if we read into that and say, hey, we should expect something probably within about a month after release, that they'll start telling us what's the deal for the next set of tests. I think that would be a fair. Assumption.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah. So some things we covered yesterday. We did talk about this whole thing yesterday. I want to clarify a couple of things here. Specifically, this invite groups. If you pre-ordered, you should check your email, check your spam folders, check all of that based on the account that you pre-ordered off of. If you pre-ordered from Amazon, in Steam, it should show up as New World Preview, of which you should be able to start downloading it now.
Yeah, I mean, even I was a little bit kind of
to nothing.
Yeah, like even I was a little bit confused when it initially today, because I never received the email, and I was expecting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the product key to be there, so I put it into Steam in order to actually get it, right? And then you had people kind of going, oh, I'm downloading the game now, etc., etc. Yep. And I was there kind of going, what, you already received the email? Because I haven't received the email, right? The email is only in reference to people who didn't pre-order on Steam. So if you did pre-order on Steam, you don't need to get the email, because they already know that you pre-ordered. They already know who it is, and they can just serve it straight to you.
Yep.
So it'll be there, like on your Steam, your Steam library.
Yes. Now, there are a couple of things to note with that. First and foremost, if you have if your thing still says New World Confidential Test, uninstall it. In fact, if it's still installed on your computer, uninstall it, reinstall it. You've got multiple days to do it. When you load it up right now, it'll show, hey, no worlds to join. Um,
Yeah.
don't put any stock into anything that you see or anything like that. There's a potential that there's other builds or an update to the build. You never know these things. You know, it's like you buy the new Call of Duty, you know, launch day, and by the time you launch the game on launch day for the for the start of it, you already have to do an update.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the reality of everything. Like, so it may not be the final version. A reminder to that is that your experience in the version in the thing, even now, all the way up until the 25th, is actually covered by the NDA. The 25th is when your NDA lifts for that version of the client.
Yeah.
Please note that.
That is really important because, like,
yeah.
I'm sure there's people who kind of look at, like, you know, I've got a whole bunch of stuff installed on my computer and it's not under NDA. Wrong. It is under NDA until
Yes.
the 25th.
Yep.
So don't be like, you know, trying to crack into those files and, you know, sort of post onto Reddit or wherever, like, you
Yeah.
know, the results that you find, because those are under NDA until the 25th.
Yes.
After the 25th, go for it. You know, do whatever you want, like, you know, but
now it's going to be a
understand that there is
particularly
an NDA
difficult,
still.
you know, it's going to be a very particularly difficult cover to keep. But that is not my job. That's their job. I don't give a crap. You post that on the subreddit for our New World game, then, you know, yeah, then it's my problem. But, you know, that's just because I'm trying to avoid the DMCA issues. Because the Reddit admins don't particularly like when your server or when your subreddits are not moderated and constantly have to deal with legal issues.
Yeah, full of NDA breaches and shit.
Yeah. So that's one big note. Now, alpha testers and beta signups. If you don't already have a pre-order, you need to pre-order by, I believe they said, the 25th. I believe that's what they said the other day.
Yeah, well, the kind of like the invite groups also kind of stipulate this as well. Like,
yes, but let's say
pre-order
you were
customers
in
before the 25th.
Yeah, so let's say order on Steam. Okay, actually, that's an. You know what? I never actually read this correctly. Now I feel bad. So okay, let's start with the alpha testers and beta signups. These are people that have not put any money forward, have not even bookmarked it on Amazon, because Amazon doesn't actually charge you until the game actually comes out, and they're not the 2016 Amazon people that actually got the game for free. So the Amazon are the alpha testers and the beta signups. You're gonna get in free. However, you may not get an invite, or you may not already have an invite today. That's a pretty big distinction. You will be getting them in waves. The invite will probably precede the wave in which you're coming in, but it's going to be from the 25th to the 29th that those waves will have access to. And you'll probably get the keys, you know, a day before, with the thing saying, hey, here's the time that you'll be able to start playing. This is obviously so that they can manage load on the server and stand up new servers if they have a much higher quantity of people playing than they might have expected. The Amazon 2016 pre-order customers, these are the people that got it free. If you pre-ordered on Amazon in 2016, you're getting in day one, August 25th. If you pre-ordered on Amazon anytime before August 25th, you're still in wave one. However, one thing to note here is if you pre-order after August 25th, you need to do it through Steam, according to this, because it is not listed as an option to gain access. It's probably because they don't want to pull the whole list and constantly deal with, you know, what's the difference between who's pre-ordered, who hasn't, and new names on the list, and that trying to deconflict the Amazon pre-orders versus the Steam ones. Steam houses the client, so it makes sense that anyone who pre-orders on Steam prior to and during the preview event will get access either on the 25th or whenever they pre-order. Now, Steam does actually charge you. That's just the difference between the two. It is what it is. I pre-ordered mine on Steam because, I wanted it on Steam. I knew it was going to be on Steam, and that's, the reality of, pre-ordering is eventually you're going to spend that money anyways. Is what it is. Also, it makes my life easier. I don't have to copy the code over from one place to another. Just makes it simple. So, last thing that I want to cover, on here at least, is that there are 5 server locations. This is an increase from the density test, where the density test had the US servers and an EU server as well. Instead, this time, there is a North America East, there's a North America West, there's a Central Europe, which is Germany, there is an Asia Pacific, which is Sydney, Australia, and there is a South America, which is Brazil. So, for our Brazilian brothers and sisters, good for you. You finally get a server and you can all play together and do the truly crazy things that you guys do. I'm actually really kind of curious about how that server's going to go. Because it's a Brazilians are a fun crowd. That said, the Asia Pacific server being in Sydney, Australia, the Australians are going to be pretty happy about that, and the Kiwis.
Oh yeah.
So, that'll be all kinds of fun. Obviously, this is a larger footprint than before, but is not all inclusive. So obviously, there's no African servers. In a perfect world, there'd be a Russian server, there'd be a India server, a little bit more global reach in the perfect world. They have since stated on their Twitter that they would like to expand when it comes to launch to additional locations, keeping in mind that they are, a subsidiary of Amazon, and Amazon also owns AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, which currently runs about 2/3 of the internet.
I was about to say, a good chunk of the internet. Like, I would say, like, maybe a good African server would be pretty good. I mean, I know, like, my heart goes out to you guys, any of you guys in South Africa that are trying to play this game, because, like, I kind of feel like your pings to any of the servers are going to be a bit bad, but you never know. Like, we'll obviously see on the day, on the 25th, like, how the game plays with with varying pings. It might be okay, it might not be okay. We'll have to kind of see, but hopefully the experience isn't too terrible for you guys that are like really far away from any of the servers that are available for this preview event.
Mm-hmm.
But fingers crossed.
Yeah. So that's obviously some of the big stuff. There's more. If you want to know more, there is, all kinds of stuff to know. I do want to hit on the fact that they have started a creator program, which has probably one of the coolest logos that I think I've ever seen. Like, they really outdid themselves on this one, in all honesty. It's just cool. Like their art team really does a great job, and I gotta give them credit whenever I see it. Like, they just do good work. It's a pretty awesome logo. I know I've applied for the program. I know McLeod's applied for the program. I think that it's going to be a pretty epic thing when it launches, and I think that it's going to give an opportunity to a bunch of people to make a good impact and a good overall presence with what they actually want to offer people in that program.
Like it looks and it sounds like it's shaping up to be really, really good. Like there's a bunch of people who, you know, obviously receive those care packages and stuff like that, like in the mail. There are various different content creators, so it kind of looks like, you know, they're kind of reaching out and sort of noticing and appreciating like content creators of all different types and sizes, which is really kind of cool. But the other kind of thing, you mentioned like the art team, right? And that logo is like fantastic in terms of like just its iconography and its kind of stylization, right? But it's not just like that sort of style of art that like the art team is like exceptional at, because like I think it was only a few days ago, maybe like a week ago, that like there was a bunch of stuff on ArtStation that was found, like some really super detailed, high, you know, like high fidelity, like art, for the game. That's just kind of blows you away in terms of like the realism kind of factor. I think these are probably like assets that are used for like high level trailers, that kind of stuff. But like, holy crap.
Yes. So I haven't
I'm sorry.
necessarily cleared it with them because
Okay.
I don't want to air something that isn't fair game to air. Because here's what I think happened. I think that somebody possibly left the studio, took some of the art with them that they wanted, and put it out there as, you know, hey, this is our this is the portfolio of stuff that I worked on. Some cool stuff. If you'd like to see it, we have it in the Art All channel on our Discord. Because I have no problem hosting it there.
But it's just we haven't really cleared it.
Yeah, I haven't cleared it for
stream.
Twitch, so I don't want to hit that up before. But regardless, it's good stuff. It's totally worth seeing. Some super high quality, high resolution images that hopefully translate into some pretty sick skins.
Oh yeah,
like they got the Roman Legionnaire thing on there that exactly what I'm looking for.
I mean, you guys have seen it in the trailer that they released like a while ago. Like you get that kind of Roman Legionnaire sort of stuff, but like this is like, I mean, if you thought if you thought those were detailed, like, oh, you know, like once this is cleared, or like if you want to jump in and check the art on the like channels that we have on the Discord, then be my guest. But yeah, it's like it's next level kind of in terms of fidelity. It's fantastic.
Yes. So that said, that's most of what I've got planned for today's episode. I
have a little reveal.
Oh.
Which I haven't even, like, you don't even know what I'm about to say.
I don't know what he's about to say.
So you're probably like in sort of like starting to get like cold sweats, like, oh fuck, what is he gonna say? Is it gonna be a breach of NDA? And he doesn't realize it, and I'm gonna realize it, and we're gonna be like, oh fuck. It's not.
This is like, where my Twitch career ends.
Yeah, this is
this is how I go.
This is where I just torpedo the whole kind of endeavor and be like, oh crap, thanks for that. Jesus Christ. No. Like, essentially, I'm not sure whether there is like controller sort of support, right, in this game, right? But I downloaded, I installed, and I even paid for like a remapper for controllers, so I can, like, even if it doesn't have support, and I've tried this on various different games, like I am going to force controller support in this game, regardless of what they think or what they do. I'm gonna play it on a fucking PS3 controller if needs be. So it'll be an interesting experience. Maybe something that like some of the other streamers and stuff like that aren't doing. And you know, if you guys want to find out how to do it as well, like say if you're part of the event and you do have a controller and you want to know how to do it, like maybe not even a controller that works with like natively with Windows, right? Because Sony products like notoriously don't play ball really that well with PCs. You know, different kind of thing with Xbox. Yeah, fair enough. But you know, I will endeavor to help you with in terms of doing that. And it'll be a bit of a different experience as well.
Oh, yeah.
You
For
can
anybody-
you can have it. You can stop with your little like panic attack as well now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank
Just
fucking
dying
Christ.
inside there, you know, like. So for anybody that doesn't get an invite, that doesn't doesn't want to pre-order, make sure to follow, subscribe, whatever. We are going to be streaming on this channel the game whenever we can. So bookmark it, do whatever you want to do. If you hit the follow button and make sure that the bell is set, it'll give you a notification every time we come on. Generally speaking, we only come on when we've got new information, like what to do if you got this, or the creator program, or news on the preview itself, and detailed analysis of what's going on, or the Amazon content policy that got released, or maybe because we haven't released just enough news yet, is that no, they have not introduced any new weapons since the density test earlier this month. You'll have to wait a little bit longer to play with pistols and rapiers.
But they said that pistols and rapiers are there.
Yep. Unprompted. The prior prompt. Will there be a wider range of weapons available compared to the density test? No. Oh, look. They confirmed other weapons.
They didn't even say, like, oh, when we'll be able to play with pistols and rapiers. Like, they didn't even prompt it. Like, they just offered it up free. Like, oh, yeah, there will be pistols and rapiers, but you can't play it now. Maybe later.
Mm-hmm. Just dropping a little nugget here for the people that stayed around for an hour. Because, yeah. Also, in case you guys didn't see these from the beginning, a quick run through. We did the pseudo unboxing because I opened it up earlier today. Got some pretty cool stuff from Amazon.
Decided to wear a bunch of stuff, of it. I'm envious of the snapback, by the way.
It's pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. I had to buy an extender, so like, I have a huge head. And most hats don't fit me, so I legit had to buy an extender for the back of it. But that is a pre-existing condition. It is. I'm not saying that their hat is too small. It's just on like the last button of the things, and this will
you don't want to be
a little bit of room to breathe.
Yeah, you don't want to be dealing with that last, like literally, like all the stress on that single thing. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so this will give me a little bit of space to breathe in that hat. But really comfortable, really great. Embroidered, the whole works. I couldn't be happier to get the box. Like, it's a awesome thing to be recognized for my work. So, yeah. So with that, that's all we've got.
I would like to say that regarding all the streaming that we're going to be doing and all the kind of like content creation we're going to be doing like over the next week, you do realize what I'm going to be doing all of Monday, right?
Sleeping in preparation for the event?
No, I'm going to be trawling through my hard drives and trying to remove as much shit as I can, just so I have enough space for all the fucking recordings that we're going to be doing over fucking 11 days.
Oh yeah, shit.
It's just gonna be ridiculous.
I might have to buy another hard drive. Actually, no. I just
Well,
put a 5
you-
terabyte in, so I'm good.
I'm just saying you do not have to record in 4K. Okay, like we're gonna be running like there's no real reason to be running 4K. Like I'm not gonna be recording 4K. Like I'm just saying this. I'm not gonna be recording 4K. So if we're gonna be like creating videos and putting like how tos and shit on YouTube, which we're gonna be doing, like by the way.
So what I'm
Um,
hearing is record
like-
in 4K.
Like I'm not going to be editing in 4K. I'm not going to be crunching things in 4K. So
8K?
like, so
16K.
you really
Okay, we
you
agree.
really want to be swimming the wrong fucking way, really, don't you? God damn. I'm doing 1080p. If you're not doing 1080p, that's whatever, right? But I'm doing 1080p. Okay, like for
My native
for
resolution
YouTube.
is 2K.
Yeah, well, you know, buy me a new PC and I'll do that too.
Well, that said, on the topic of things that we spend our money on, I want to thank our Patreon. We do have one, which I think is amazing. I want to thank all of our subscribers, all of our followers. Simply put, you guys make this worth doing. Like, if it wasn't for, like, even the average viewer, we wouldn't be doing this. Like, what would be the point of me talking to a camera in a room alone to an audience of nothing? Like, having people to chat with, having people to game with, having people to build a community around is the purpose of streaming. That being the case, we are going to have a major announcement that is going to potentially affect a couple of individuals that you are going to have to tune in next time to find out what it is. It's going to be a good one. It might have something to do with the box.
Mm-hmm.
So with that,
watch this space.
Yes, watch this space. And make sure that you hit that follow button so that you know when we're on next time, so that you can find out what exactly that major announcement is, so that we can tell you. That said, we're probably going to be streaming tomorrow or Sunday. I haven't quite decided, and I know that that's a terrible thing to say, as somebody who's supposed to be a professional at this, I guess. Is that what we are now? I don't think we've reached that stage.
I don't think
we've still hit the novice effort at this point still.
Yeah, this is still passion project novice.
Yeah, this is entirely pedestrian. Like,
we're not drawing a monthly paycheck out of this yet in any way, shape, or form.
In 8 months, we have not hit the threshold for Twitch to pay us. So just
we're getting there.
Think about that for a moment. We have made so little money that it literally isn't enough for Twitch to cut a check. It's okay. It's only 8 months worth of effort.
it sounds pathetic, but it's not, because
it's
there hasn't been a game for us to stream. Like, it's all just been news. It's all just been news, and it's all just been conjecture and hyperbole from us and stuff like that. But it's fun hyperbole. It's fun conjecture. It's kind of like interesting to sort of to do this and to talk about the game and the hopes, the aspirations, the dreams. The kind of like the parallels to other games, all that kind of stuff, right? Like, it's pretty cool. But like, a lot of people like to see gameplay when they come to Twitch, and it's just been frustrating that we haven't been able to do it, but we'll be able to do it next week. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Exactly. It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I know McLeod's looking forward to it. I know there's 2 hurricanes that are potentially standing in my way of doing it, which I'm.
They're making landfall just to fucking get to computers to fucking play the preview event.
Yeah.
Like, nature itself wants to fucking come and play this game.
Yeah. So needless to say,
I may be being hyperbolic there.
I'm very excited about this. I think that it's finally going to be, because I was one of those people that was like, hey, this game is ready to launch. Am I happy that they delayed? Sure, because a good game can become a great game. And like add 10 months to anything. Age makes things better, especially if there's people actively working on it. So just
unless it's unrefrigerated milk.
Yeah, I wouldn't add 10 months to that.
But hey, a nice whiskey.
Yes, add another 10 months. It can't hurt. So, as I said, keep an eye on us for the next stream. Major announcement to come. It's gonna be a big one. I gotta figure out how to actually run what I'm gonna announce. But
don't worry, there's tools for that shit. So don't worry about that.
Yes.
We just
Hopefully
need
they
to
work.
we just need to iron out the specifics and sort of like some details and stuff about that. But like it'll be good.
So all that said, thank you guys, and we will see you in the new world.
Mm-hmm.